More than I need, what you want, girl, it's yours. Give me your feelings, I just can't ignore. 'Cause all I want is you, baby. Give me your time, all your love, I've been patient.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Russell the Fourth.
Hey everybody, it's me, Brandy.
And welcome to another episode of the What They Never Told Us podcast. What's going on? Back like we never left.
And I'm going to apologize in advance for any sniffles, sneezes, or grunts you may hear. I am of the sickly nature today. And I'm going to try to power through, but I'm just kicking my butt if I'm being real honest with y'all.
If y'all OGs, y'all know this is nothing new. At least once per season, y'all get some nose blowing and all that between the allergies and just being in Michigan. Like, this weather here is built different. One day it's 80 degrees, the next day it's 8. Ain't nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, well, it got me.
It got you.
I got. So
I don't know why we still here. Michigan.
It's your fault. At this point.
Nah, don't let me tell you business.
It ain't my fault. At this point, it's your fault.
It's you.
I done asked you to text me about 10 times.
You down?
Out of here. I'm ready. Let's go.
You was not down. You fretting.
All the consequences come as they may. I'm ready.
Every time I go somewhere, I come back and I be like, why are we here? And I was in DC over the weekend, and the weather was just beautiful. It's like, y'all live in this all the time?
That's not fair. That's how I felt when we were in California. I'm like, why does sky look different? The sky don't look like this in Michigan.
The air breathes different.
It's just different.
The air pressure, everything. I felt lighter. The gravity is different out there.
It's just
golly.
Sad. A picture from our honeymoon came up in my memories. So like this time last year, I was reminiscing on being there. So I just posted it again. Like, I still want to go back.
Yeah. Shout out to Palm Springs.
West Coast me, please.
West Coast, all of that. Shout out to anybody in the DMV area, DC, Maryland, and Virginia.
Did you have a time?
Did
you have a time?
I did. I mean, it was more a work thing. I didn't get to really see much or anything.
No. You called me look like you was in Vegas. You was on the strip when I
was at the Cheesecake Factory.
It was lit up.
It was attached.
What you doing?
It was attached to a casino.
You supposed to be at the hotel. What you doing?
It was attached to a casino. Why girls do that? It don't take much for y'all to get the what Kevin Hart say. You know, he said when it sound like fun in the background, and it'd be like, you know what? Do you, boo boo? Do you?
I was trying to figure out all these lights and bells and whistles.
You
like,
was all okay, but the moment it looked like fun, he was like, what you do?
Where you at?
You know, I have an attitude because I got cheesecake. I said, what you doing? Get some cheesecake. You know what? I should hang up. I should hang up on you.
I ain't want to talk no more.
I can't eat cheesecake.
Nah. Not without being in my presence, you can't.
That is just
cheating.
This is just wrong.
It ain't wrong. It's right. Some things that are reserved for the sanctity of our relationship.
And one is cheesecake.
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Cheesecake
Lesson
and
learned.
Netflix shows, I feel like.
All of them.
They kind of go hand in hand.
Wow.
I would say some other stuff, but you already violated.
Like what?
You be going to different restaurants without me too.
Different restaurants?
That. Yeah, I look at our checking account and I see a Wingy Ann's charge on there. You be like, oh yeah, we got out of such and such early, so I was hungry.
Now I can't eat. Now I can't get.
Really?
No, I can't get chicken wings without you.
You was hungry.
No, you gonna eat wings without? No, I don't do that. See the hypocritical nature.
The door. You opened the door. I never went there without you before you started. Going.
Are you telling me that prior to this week, there has never been a time that you've been to Wingy Ann's?
You opened the door a long time ago, so then I was like, all right.
No, that's not true. It was literally
very true.
The first time I went to Wingy Ann's without you was this school year when we had a training and I got out early. You had already been to Wingy Ann's without me before that.
That's not true.
All the Mondays that you don't go to work.
I go to work every Monday.
I know, but all the days you don't go to work. There's been plenty of times you're at Wingy Ann's.
It don't matter. We here now.
This is beyond me. Y'all got to set y'all spouses free. Let them live.
Nah, certain stuff that you just don't do.
Chicken wings, cheesecake, and Netflix shows.
Yeah. I feel like I broke the Big B pack, so that's okay. That's okay now.
You know what?
It's just certain stuff we just don't.
I'm sick of it. I miss you though.
No, I'm sure you did.
That was my look how she responded. I'm sure you did. I don't have the energy for this. I don't. I really don't. Did you miss me?
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. That's a better response. But it's cool. I'll take it. Yeah, like that was my first time being away from you. You left me before. You was in Atlanta living your best life.
Facts.
And I was here tending to the home. You know what I'm saying?
First time ever.
Tending to the home?
Yes.
What's going on? What's up with you today? You all right? What's going on? It's a lot of
medicine that went to my head.
It's a lot of shots fired. And I don't know why.
I'm just saying.
I don't know what's going on.
I just felt you getting ready to put a lot on what you was doing while I was gone, so I just had to.
I wasn't. I was about to go into how much I missed you and how much we had time to be apart and how much the heart go find her. But I don't even feel like it no more. You done killed the whole vibe.
That's okay. I know what you felt. Anyway.
Look at that. It's gonna be nice and quiet on this podcast.
Go
here.
ahead. Listen, I can do a whole monologue. You want me to?
I'm interested to see how you would do a solo podcast.
I can't do it with you here though, because there's certain stuff that I know that I would say. You'd be like, "Hold on, wait a minute." So
you could not do a podcast
we
for
both
an
gonna
hour
do an episode.
talking to
it
yourself.
It don't have to be an hour.
How long would your episode be?
I don't know.
Be 5
so I
minutes.
feel like, you know, I'm a pro.
You are.
I'm a pro at talking to myself. So.
But that's you talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it would be.
All right. So
I will let people into the thoughts that go on in here. It would be highly entertaining.
Are you hereby declaring that this season that we're having solo episodes?
Sure, we could do that.
I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's matter of fact, I'm even go as far as to say I think it's gonna be awful. But just out of pure curiosity.
It could be bonus content.
Just out of pure curiosity. Why not?
It's gonna be bonus content. I think I could do it, and I think it would be lovely. You ain't gonna do nothing but play music and react to it. See, I got a whole.
What does that have to do with the relationship? It's still the podcast about relationships. You think I'm gonna talk about?
All right.
Nah, I'm gonna call somebody.
See, you gotta be by yourself.
I can do it.
Okay, let's go.
I can do it. I can preach for 45 minutes. I can talk to y'all for.
Y'all let us know if that's something y'all want to see. I ain't gonna give y'all nothing y'all don't want to see.
Don't nobody want to. Yeah, and then another thing, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So.
Nah, I got a lot of stuff I can talk about. I'm just gonna talk about being a woman in a relationship and all the challenges and all the blessings and all the wonder it is.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Okay,
with anticipation.
Anyway, what are we here to talk about today?
Oh, hold on, pause. I have to apologize to y'all. I know I did on the live, but I need to reiterate. If you're on YouTube, how you doing? So good to see you, and I hope it's good to see us. If you don't know what's going on, maybe you don't listen to the audio at all. You have no idea what happened last week. I forgot to hit the record button. I completely forgot.
Accountability.
So we did have audio available. If you do want to check out that episode, we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, wherever podcasts are. We're there. But it's good to be back. It's good to see y'all. I hope it's good to see us too. I just wanted to inform y'all, if you only know us from YouTube, that might have been missed upon you. But we're back.
Yeah, there was somebody who was on the live who definitely was like, "Look, I was looking for the episode. Y'all didn't record last week." Like,
there's people
everybody in the comments like, "It was audio only."
There's people who found us from YouTube Shorts and only know us from YouTube.
Absolutely.
So that's on me, y'all. My bad. That's my bad. Fumble. And it's just so you know, it's my third time doing this. 2 for sure, 1 debatable, but I think at this point we've got enough of a sample size to say it probably was me. But whatever.
It was you.
Yeah. So while I was gone, I was actually you sent me something that you thought would be a good intro topic.
Well, so what I read, I don't have it anymore, but it was basically saying that did the world think that her baby daddy would be mad when he finds out that their child was named after her ex?
Did who?
Huh?
You said did the world?
She was asking the question to the world. Y'all think my baby daddy gonna be mad when he find out that our child is named after my ex? And so it just really got me to thinking about some really ghetto things that occur within families.
Number one, would you be upset?
So it depends, right? So before we came here to talk about this, I have this scenario in my family. And I wasn't sure if the person knew how their name originated. So I was like, before I get on here and talk about it, let me call them and just clear the air. So I ain't gonna tell y'all who, because I really didn't get a clear answer on if it was okay or not. But this scenario is in my family. And at first the person was like, what? How he gonna name me after one of his hussies? But I feel like when he told me the scenario, it was more like he met a lady, he dated her for a little while, but he really loved her name. And he always thought that when I have a daughter, I'm gonna name her X, Y, and Z. In that regard, I don't think I would be upset. Like, you can't help how you met somebody and you really fell in love with their name. It's not like you named them after that person. It's just you like the name. In my heart, I think I wouldn't be upset. In my head, I'd probably be like, hold on. You telling me
in
what?
reality, you would be upset. You let us have another kid and you find out some years later it's named after X. You be like, what?
I mean, it's weird. I'm not going to lie. It's weird. It's a weird concept.
Well, it's just like the other day when you asked me something about a name. You were like, what was it? Oh, Lord, help my mind. Dang it, it's lost. It's lost. But you were asking me something about names in relationships.
Okay, baby.
Just keep talking. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. Oh, I'm so mad.
Well, so like, I just feel like in that scenario, in the specific scenario that happened in my family, I don't think I would be upset. But if
it's back.
Okay, but if you told me, hey, I used to date a girl, her name was Sarah, and you know, she really had an impact on me, and when we have a daughter, I want to name her Sarah. Now that's a different scenario. Talk.
Yeah, because it's slipping. Like, I don't know what's wrong with my mind, but the thought's slipping. But you asked me, if you passed away, would I be able to date somebody who has the same name as you?
Yes.
And I don't think if I got an answer from you, I know my answer was like, no, I couldn't do that, because every time I say a name, like, there's going to be a lingering thought of you, like it's going to come up. Now, it depends on the way of the relationship, how significant it was, but sometimes you can't separate names from the impact that the person who had the name had. Like, there's some people I can't stand so much to the degree to which, like, I couldn't even name my kid that. Love your name, but you just messed the name up for me. Like, I can't even name my kid that, because now when I sit in there, I'm gonna think of how much I can't stand you. You ever had somebody just ruin a name for you?
I don't think so. Well, yes, that's true. That's not true. I told you my story, how a girl that my ex used to mess with had a name, and she had the same name as an artist, and I couldn't listen to the artist.
See what I mean?
Just like, every time I get ready to play this, I remember how he was trying to dip back with that girl. She was all in our business, always cutting in on our relationship.
See what I mean?
So, yeah, I couldn't listen to her.
Yeah. So that,
I get it.
Yeah. So that in that same way, like, and then once again, it depends on how serious the relationship is. You know what I mean? Like, you might not be able to separate the two.
Yeah. So my son is named after his father, and I have my son's name tattooed on my back. But I have had several relationships.
Really hate that you just drew that correlation.
What do you mean drew the correlation?
I mean, I know they have the same. Does it say Junior?
No, it just says
See,
Michael.
I don't like that. You gonna get Junior added. I just thought about that. You getting Junior this weekend.
Nothing added.
You gonna get Junior this weekend.
I've had this in several relationships where they're like, yo, I just hate that you got that N-word name tattooed on your back. And I'm like, I don't have his name tattooed on my back.
But you do.
Clear, it's my son's name.
And
so
it's
that
his
means
name
I have
too.
everybody named Michael name that it's in the world tattooed on my back? No.
If you slept with them, then
I got a cousin named Michael. Is it his name too?
Did you sleep with your cousin?
No, but I'm saying.
Well, it don't matter. It's irrelevant.
What does sleeping with someone have to do with my tattoo?
You had a child with somebody and their name is on your back.
My child's name is on my back.
Yeah.
I didn't get it in relation to that relationship.
Why you didn't put Junior on there?
Because I didn't want to. I don't call him Michael Jr. I call him Michael.
I feel like this could be a thing where it really was that person's name, and then you're like, that didn't work out, so I'm gonna just put
Absolutely not.
well, I know.
Absolutely not.
Even if it don't work out, I can just say it's my son.
The relationship was long over when I got my tattoo. But I've had several people who like really took an issue with that.
Would you ever tattoo somebody's name on you?
No.
Not even mine?
No.
If we like wedding bands, we couldn't like.
I mean, I said we could get matching tattoos, but I don't really feel like I don't need to brand myself. Like for me, that's a little.
That's dramatic brand.
That's what I feel like you're doing.
Me?
When anybody tattoos their spouses or significant others' name, I feel like it's branding. Like you're stapling. This is mine.
Why wouldn't that apply to any tattoo?
What do you mean? Because it's not.
Because it's somebody you love, it's branding. But what if
it's their name? Like, what's the significance of?
What if it was the name of a loved one that passed away? Like, it was a loved one that passed away. You're branding yourself. It's
in your relationship. It's showing ownership. It's showing possession. I don't like that.
But what if it's somebody who passed away? Is it not the same?
No, that's in remembrance.
But what if it has nothing to do with
significant other passed away? Then maybe.
But what if it was something you chose to do? If the motivation isn't I'm being branded because it's ownership. What if the motivation was I love this person, then the rest of my life?
That's your choice. I'm saying I wouldn't do it because it feels like branding. It feels like cattle prodding. Like I'm just tattooing your name on me to show that I'm yours. Like, no, my loyalty to you shows you that. This wedding ring on my hand shows you that. I do not need to tattoo Russell the Fourth on me anyway.
I have no tattoo. Yeah, I'm not requesting that. I have no tattoos of anybody's name on me, but I'm just saying it.
So you would get my name if we like say, hey, let's go get tattoos of each other's names. You just
if I had like a concept like that was relevant, and I was like, yo, this would be a dope tattoo, and it was something that commemorated our relationship more than me, I wouldn't mind if your name was a part of it.
I wouldn't part of it.
Yeah, I mean, if I had an idea that like really like, yo, this would be dope, you know what I mean? Like I would, if your name was on it, I wouldn't be like, oh, I can't do it because I feel like I'm being branded. She doesn't own me. Like I don't have them issues in my head.
To each its own.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel like
I ain't doing it.
I would feel like, I don't got that. I don't know.
Get somebody else to do it. That ain't for me.
Yeah,
I would get matching tattoos with you, like our wedding date or
why? That's like branding.
No, it's not.
Why? It's the date.
I'm not commemorating your
the
life
date that you got locked down by me. So now you're branding. Yeah, okay. Branding, lockdown, all these negative connotations to loving somebody.
That's what I feel like.
I feel you. And once again, I'm not pushing for it, so.
I think you are. It feels like it.
Nah, I'm just pushing back because we got an hour to fill.
Feels like you really want me to get a tattoo with your name on it.
I've never requested that or brought it up.
My kids ask why. The little kids have asked why I don't have their name.
You need to tell them that it ain't got nothing to do with Michael. This is daddy.
I was 21, I think, when I got Michael's tattoo. So long, he was 3 by the time I got his tattoo. Was not dealing with his father.
I'm just playing.
You know what I'm saying? But I was at a time where I was getting tattoos. Like I was getting several tattoos back to back. And after I got my tattoo on my ribs, I was good on tattoos. Like I don't ever need another one. So that's why I don't have it. It's really because I'm scarred because that one hurt so bad that I just see no point in them anymore. But if I were to ever get more tattoos, I probably would get everybody's name. All the kids.
All of them?
Yeah.
What about the extras?
Yeah, Lily and Tika.
You don't get the name tatted?
Absolutely.
Well, you wouldn't feel like you're branding yourself?
With the kids?
See, now the whole pause. Wait a second. Pause.
The kids don't own me.
Here's the thing. Neither do I. But it's just the way you view relationships.
Yes. No, not relationships.
No, pause.
Don't do that.
Men,
not relationships.
Men or me?
Not relationships.
No, pause a second. Let me get my thought out.
Go ahead.
You don't mind being a kid. It doesn't mind because those are my children.
Yes.
So their name means something different. But if I put your name on me, but why you have to listen.
I'm listening.
I listen because I know you got to think about what my name means to you and why it being on your skin is. It means something different.
I have to analyze that, or is it just the way that I feel?
Well, what is that?
I don't think I need to analyze that. It's just the way that I feel. I feel like it's branding
there's one thing
my
to say,
body.
this is how I feel.
Yeah.
But why do I feel that way? What's the difference between?
Because it feels like I'm showing that ownership of that. Like like
But
you're
what-
marking your territory.
I didn't give
don't
you the
want that.
tattoo.
That's what I'm saying.
But hold on.
It would never be my choice. So if I
Let
did
me-
it, it would be because you want me
But
to
let
do
me
it.
get my thought out.
You done got your thought out 3 times, and I done told
No,
you. You
but
just
we're-
want to try to change my mind.
I'm not trying to change your mind. Listen, I know. Listen, I'm clear on what you feel.
Uh-huh.
I'm not 100% clear on. Well, no, I'm clear on why you feel like that. It's because you feel like you're branding. But that's a very like surface. But if we go deeper, a name is a name. It's not to commemorate somebody who died away.
Yes.
Your name, your children's name on your skin commemorates your love for that relationship.
Yeah.
But a man's name on your skin feels like demeaning or degrading or branding, all of these negative connotations. Now, here's the thing. Your kids are always going to be your kids. They're going to leave. They could
always be my kids.
They'll always be your kids.
Yes.
They could do you dirty. They could disrespect you and denounce
100%.
you, but the name will always be on your skin, but that relationship is just there. Now, I could be stand up, love you to the day I die, but my name on your skin means something different than your children.
You could, but it's not a relationship that's if we break for whatever reason, it's not like my children. My children can do whatever. They're still mine. They still come from me.
So let me ask
like
you this.
once you my ex, you my ex.
What
And
relationship is more important, husband or mother and husband and wife or mother and children?
important in like hierarchy in a family? My husband. But while he's my husband, when he's not my husband no more, for whatever reason, it's not the same. And now I have this name tattooed on me. Then I'm looking like, what? Now I got to get it covered up?
I'm just saying what I'm saying. I just say what I'm saying. It has less to do with
It
what
might be irrational to you,
It's
but
not
to me,
irrational.
it makes perfect sense.
It's not irrational to me. I get why you feel the way you feel. I think there's a much deeper conversation that I don't think is for the podcast, but I think there's some.
It's not, everything's for the podcast.
I think there's more there. I think what a man's name means to you has something to do with your idea of men and less to do with your idea of, tattoos of relationships, because the relationship with your children is a relationship. But because you're okay with that relationship, their name on you means something different. A name is a name, a relationship is a relationship. But this relationship...
But you have to recognize that there's a difference between a romantic relationship that you have with somebody that can go and come as people will. Like one day I could decide this is not what I want no more. One day you could decide this is not what you want
your
no more.
Your kids can do that, but
they
that don't
can,
mean
but
nothing.
they're still my kids. There's nothing that changes that. There are things that can change whether you're my husband, whether you're my boyfriend, whether you're my wife, whether you're my girlfriend. Those things change. No matter what happens, those are always my kids. Whether they don't talk to me
That's
another
not true.
day in their life, they're still my kids.
In the same... Well, that's just because that's what you choose to believe. But if they go to a court,
changes them?
there's
to
a
not be
court
my
system
kids?
in process. They can go to emancipate
They're
themselves.
still my kids. That's legal. They still came out of this vagina. They're still mine.
Well, legally, they couldn't change that, right?
I mean,
In the
yes, but
same
they're
process
still mine.
that because that is your mentality, right? So if in our scenario, right, if I say, now let me ask you this:
Yes.
do
ask
you
me.
believe I'm gonna leave?
No.
You don't believe that.
No.
You believe we
I don't-
locked
I
in
choose-
for the grave.
I choose not to believe that.
So tell
Is
me,
it possible? Absolutely.
just like it's possible for your kids to say "f you, mom," "f you, b," that
They're
like.
still mine.
But see how your mentality is different, like,
But you're not. You wouldn't be mine. You could go and be somebody else's.
huh?
If you left me,
But
you're
you-
no longer mine. You
but-
now belong to
But
somebody
you
else.
said you believe that that's not going to happen.
Yeah. That doesn't still don't mean that I want to brand your name on me.
It's just something to think about, because
I don't have to think about
my
that.
name on your skin means something different than your children's name on your skin.
It does.
And this, yeah, because
I
of
don't
what
feel bad about that.
you shouldn't feel bad. I'm not asking you to feel bad. I just think there's more deeper thought to it, because it's like I don't think it's as surface as you're making it. Or maybe as you view it, it's like, nah, if your name on me, that feels like you own me or something. Like, if I didn't force you to do it, if I didn't ask you to do it, if it was something you just decided to do,
It's different. That's a different mentality. That's not something that I'm in my head right now that I could see myself choosing to do. So that's what I'm speaking on. Now, if something changes and viewpoints or whatever, and I'm like, "Ooh, I need another tattoo."
But you would choose
and
to get my children. But listen,
no, I said if I added my children, then no. Listen, if I added the children that biologically came from me, if I did that,
you would add my children.
Then yes, I would. Because listen, I understand that if we were to ever get divorced, that technically those wouldn't be my kids anymore, right? For this, we're making it real simple, way more simpler than it is. But they wouldn't technically be my responsibility, but it wouldn't change my love for them. It wouldn't change how I view them.
So
changing our relationship could possibly change the way that I view you.
But you would still be okay with it's my name. Once again, like Michael Jr.
Now his name is after you. This is very specific to us.
Yeah.
Not everybody.
Now you're okay with having my children's name on you.
I don't want any of the kids' more name on me.
That's because
we're just introducing all these.
Give me a sec. Let me take a foot off the gas pedal. Like,
because we're going down these imaginary roads for absolutely no reason. I don't want no more tattoos.
But if you were still into the tattooing and it was something you want to do, you'd be okay with getting the kids' tattoos, even my children. Mm-hmm. But because of how you view our relationship and how you view me, my name means something else.
Yeah, you're making it very personal when it doesn't need to be, but absolutely, yes. If you want to make it cut and dry, then yes.
That's I'm not saying you should feel bad about it, but it can be like, because once again, it's like, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So, but when we were talking about the name thing with kids, right? Like naming your kid after an ex, right? Is that something you feel like should be communicated? Like at some point, should they be like, hey, look, just so you know, like, I got this name from an ex. You feel like that's something that should have to be communicated? It should
be communicated before the child is born. I think if it's already done and you already did it, ain't no need to backtrack. And I don't know, for us, like, I feel like we had the conversation up front about who our exes were, who we've had previous relationships with. So if we were to have another kid, it seems like it would be very obvious that this name probably came from that. Or I would draw the correlation like, look, I know that's my ex's name, but that's not where I got this name from. This was on my list of names from way back when. But I think that this scenario comes from us just not doing enough investigation on who we with. Like, for me, it's important to know who you've been with. Or
you think you know all my exes?
Had a relationship with. I feel like I know their names. Like, we went through I don't know, unless you lied. Is it something you need to tell me?
Well, what if it wasn't like a serious relationship? What if it was just somebody I had relations with? Or what if it was somebody we were talking? And
well, if you've had relations with them, apparently, at this point, you should have told me their name. You said that you told me everybody that you had sex with. So if there's still,
I don't think we went by name. I remember we said how many people, and I think we like went through top. But I don't remember being like there was Lisa, Letitia, Dawn, LaShawn. That's DMX.
We did.
That's what I remember.
If you let somebody off the list, I mean, it's here nor there now, but like, to me, that's important that I have that information. I'm not going to grill you on that information. You don't need to go into details about it, but I feel like
it's possible that you could just not remember. I'm sure you don't remember everybody I've been with.
Yeah, I'm not going to remember all of their names. Yeah. I mean, you told them to me before, but do I remember them? And I'm going to go back. Mm-hmm. But I just think that if that scenario comes up, it would be highly probable that we've had a conversation about who our exes are. And I'm like, okay, explain that to me a little bit.
This is, I can't remember what we were watching. We was watching something the other day, and it was something to the effect of like, is it okay to lie? Or maybe I think they might have said something even bold as like, in a relationship, sometimes you have to lie to people that you love or something like that. You remember that? Mm-mm. It was something like, when you're in a relationship, sometimes you have to lie to the people that you love. And I remember we did a weekly check-in, mm-hmm. And it was kind of somewhere around this same subject matter. Do you agree on that scenario? Like, do you feel like sometimes in relationships that it's necessary to tell a lie?
Necessary?
Necessary and or sometimes okay?
There are very limited scenarios where I feel like it's okay to lie. Period.
Give me one of the limited
I'm
ones.
trying to throw you a surprise party, and I might have to lie to you
Okay.
about the what we doing, what I've been doing all day, or something like that.
Yeah.
That's a very limited scenario.
Yeah.
Man, I might have to lie to you to protect a secret that somebody else has told me. So let's say, my mom's going through something, or whatever, and you're asking me like, where were you at today? And my mom doesn't want people to know that she's having cancer treatments or whatever. And so I'm like, I was just hanging with my mom. Like omission.
You better tell me if mom.
I'm just saying, I'm using a very dramatic scenario, but there are things that my friends tell me in confidence, that my mom tells me in confidence, my brother, that if we approached on the situation, I may not feel at liberty to share that with you without having a conversation first. So I think for me, it would be more omission than it would just be an all-out lie. But I could see that happening in a scenario. But one thing that I don't think I could ever do in that scenario, if I omitted something, like I'm going back to them like, hey, Russell was asking questions, like, is it okay for me to share? And if they say no, then of course I can't. But I would want to come back to you and be able to clear that up. Like, I was a little vague when you asked me such and such. It's because this is going on.
Yeah.
I can't think of too many scenarios where I would just be okay with all out lying to you.
What about pride lies?
What does that mean? Like you pooped on yourself and you don't want to tell me, so you lie about it?
I guess that could fall in the category.
What is
that definitely was a scenario.
Lie?
It definitely wasn't the scenario I came to mind. That's really specific. Where did that come from? Like,
I'm trying to think of a pride lie.
You guys had sex. It's usually bomb for whatever reason. You didn't enjoy it. Your spouse seems like they just really had a great time. You ain't feeling it. He says, "Whoa, that was good."
No.
You say, at the point you say, "I actually didn't enjoy that at all."
I probably wouldn't say it in those words, but
Is
I
that
would
not
definitely tell the truth. I would not lie to you or to whoever. I wouldn't lie in that
What about
scenario.
all the girls who fake the big O?
Yeah, so I told you this before we ever got in a relationship, that I was at the point that I had faked it and pretended so much that I wasn't willing to compromise on that. So like, if it wasn't that, I was going to tell you so that we could get it to what it needed to be. So when we got in a relationship at the point where I was at, I would not lie to you or whoever that next person would have been about the quality of the sex. Like, I just can't do that now.
High five to just walking in the bomb sex chemistry. Come on. Thank you, God.
Like
God did it.
He blessed us. For sure. But I mean, there's still times where, like, I don't know, one of us don't get it. I'm not going to lie to you and be like, oh yeah, I did. No, I didn't.
I feel like I'll be lying.
Oh, you do?
No. No, I'm sorry. Let me
Cut all this off.
Not in this scenario. Nah, chill out. In the past, there were times where I just flat out fake. I faked O's, and I found out that was rare for men, but I've definitely.
I feel like that was. I didn't know that was possible. Like, I feel like if you fake with a girl, like if a guy fakes it, she has to be faking that she don't know.
How?
It's kind of obvious.
I mean, if you're wearing protection, it ain't like you know.
Yeah, I guess I'm too observant. Like. It's empty.
Who's going to investigate?
You don't have to investigate, but ain't you there when they take it off?
It's dark. It's in the dark. Who's like, it's a dark room. Ain't nobody going back to being like, let me see. I don't know. It's kind of dry. Like, nobody's doing that.
I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, you give a little shake, convulse, do one of those.
Yeah, no, it's not necessary. I mean, I understand because I've definitely been in that scenario where I just lie. Not necessarily because of I was worried about damaging their pride, but I think there's certain, I don't know, certain pressure on women. Like when we're having intercourse with a man to overperform. Like there's like, I don't know. And a lot of us don't know our bodies well enough to know if we did or if we didn't. So in that scenario, it feels like it's something wrong with you if you didn't. So you lie. And I think that I lied more for myself because I'm like, what's wrong with me that I can't achieve that? Especially once I started achieving that outside of sex.
It's like, oh, I can.
I'm like, so I can. It's not broken.
It's yeah.
So what's wrong with me in this scenario where it's not, and you hear all the things that women have to be comfortable. They have to do this. So now I'm in my head like, okay, so am I not comfortable with him? Do I not love him? Like, it's got to be me. So I don't think I've ever lied. I won't say ever because I definitely have lied just to appease him. But most of the time it's been like, oh yeah, because I didn't know what was happening. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. We're gonna err on the side that I did so that we all seem happy in the scenario.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't condone lying. I feel like I'm a very blunt person. In the scenarios where I do lie, my lies come out of insecurities. So I shared this on my prayer call last week, I think it was, when we were talking about something like this, but where I'm at work and I work in a very professional atmosphere and I am the only Black person. And it seems like they start to talking about their affluence, right? And I don't have that currently. And I don't come from that. You know what I'm saying? I was a project. I grew up in the projects. When I became an adult, I was on food stamps. I was on HUD, subsidized housing. I struggled for a large part of my adult life when I was out on my own. So when they're talking about all these things that they've done and they accomplish, it makes you feel inferior. Right. And I've definitely embellished and flat out lied about experiences that I had in that setting to fit in. So, yeah. But as far as like just lying to my partner or something that I'm in relationship with, I don't know.
I think a lot of people do that.
Embellish or
for sure
to fit in.
And for whatever the reason, yeah. And I think it's not a whole lot of people that are, open enough to discuss it, but a lot of that derives from insecurities.
Yeah.
Or a need to just be a part of something. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's not insecurity. Sometimes it's just like this impulse we have to want to belong. You know what I mean? And I can definitely say I've done that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is a new revelation for me. Not revelation, but something that I've just now felt comfortable talking about because it's something that I took to God because I think in a lot of my life, I'm very like straightforward, brutally honest. And I always tell people like, don't lie to me, just tell me the truth. But in this sector of my life, I'm lying. And I felt like a hypocrite. And I took that to God. Like, I don't want to be a liar. And I know I can't pick and choose when I'm a liar and when I'm not. If I lie, then I'm a liar. And I can't demand that people be honest with me if I'm not even honest with myself to say, like, I'm doing this because I don't feel good about myself. I'm doing this because I feel inferior to the white people that surround me. And in order to make myself feel better, I lie. Like, nah, that's something in me I need to fix. And if I just hide in it, can't really fix it. Okay. So when I had that opportunity on our prayer call to just really be honest and be like, look, I don't care how y'all gonna look at me after this. I be lying. And I don't like it. And I'm trying to fix it. And
they
God
be big lies or just little ones?
I don't know.
You don't be honest, like, my family's trust.
It's a hodgepodge.
Yeah, we go Greece.
I don't go that big now.
You gotta fill me in. So when I'm at the work Christmas party, I'm not like, oh.
No, for a long time, and I lied about Michael's dad's past. I don't think a lot of people, maybe one person at work actually knows the truth. But if somebody were to ask me like, oh, is his dad coming up or where's his dad at? The lie is so, I told him he worked in like a coal mine in Alabama. So like they be gone for long periods of time. It's ridiculous now, but at the time it was the first thing that popped into my head, like why he's not present at all. So yeah, I was like, they be gone for like months at a time, and it's really rigorous work, and
Was that off the top?
It was. I didn't think about that at all. No, because I could have came up with something way better.
It's such a random profession.
We can't talk to them all the time because they be down. I don't know. And if somebody would have researched that, they probably would have found out.
It's not funny.
It's really not. But when you're talking to, so I'm already the eyeball, right? Because most of the people have children with the people that they're married to.
Mm-hmm.
So at this time, I was married to my ex, and I had my 2 little ones, and everybody, like, his name is different, all of that. So I had to address it in that scenario, and I was embarrassed that my child's father was in prison. It had nothing to do with me. Everything happened before I ever met him, but it was something that I was still embarrassed about.
Tell my business. Why they all in your business asking where they? Why you all worried about that?
Listen, but when you're in, so work settings are so toxic, right? But when you're in these settings and everybody is bonding over something, and you're the person that you can't bond on that level, like you either opt out and be the
antisocial,
yeah, or you participate. And when you participate and you're really participating in your truth, if you're not comfortable with your truth, you're going to lie.
Yeah, that's real.
And I wasn't comfortable with my truth. Like, the fact that my child's father was in prison embarrassed me.
Yeah.
I was super insecure about that.
That's
fact
real.
that I'm working with y'all, but I'm still going back to subsidized housing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm embarrassed about that.
That's real. That's real. And it takes a lot of honesty. And do you ever feel that kind of creeping into a romantic relationship space, or does that seem more so like in social settings?
No, and I think that
because what I get from you is just like off the hip, just shoot me with honesty. It's like, dang, is there a different delivery system for this truth that you hit me with? Like,
I mean, with you, I don't feel the pressure to lie.
That's good.
I do get embarrassed about my upbringing when it comes to you, but I think it just comes out in a different way.
I love how you just thought I came up with a silver spoon.
No, it's the 2-parent household things. I definitely make jokes with you about like that because
y'all be glamorizing these 2 parents. They be like, look, I literally was like, I remember I told you didn't believe me. Like, when I don't know. On paper, I think it looks like we come from wealth because my dad was in the NFL and all that. Man, when I look back on my life, I'll be like, nah, we were struggling. I don't think it felt like that because, you don't know no better. But I was like, what was that thing I was sleeping on? I was like, that was a pool floaty. Like, that was my bed. Like, the inflatable joints from the pool. I slept on that. They draped the sheet and just tucked it under it. It had a little, because it sits up. Yeah. I was like that. And then when that popped, I had a little donut. Donut. Like, yeah. Everybody has their stories and all that. But, it's just funny how, like, the 2-parent household is like, you got it.
Yeah, it's a goal. It's like, that's the life. Like, your mom and your dad was there for you. Oh, you had a perfect growing up.
Struggling together. We just go struggling
Nothing
together.
wrong with your life. Like, all right. What are you complaining about?
I got you.
Yeah, so it doesn't make me want to lie. I think it does make me tease you a little bit about it.
Yeah, you definitely be poking at me.
You don't know how to make Kool-Aid. Stuff like that.
Yo, it's so wild. I'd be like, what are you talking about? You don't know about no Kool-Aid, huh?
Like, y'all really had to drink Welchers. Nah.
Why is this happening?
No, but for me, there's no space for lying in a relationship or deceiving. Maybe I should say that. Like, trying to be deceptive to somebody while you're in a relationship with them. There's no space for it.
So that's a good thought. So it brings us back to the kind of what we touched on the weekly check-in. Is omission of the truth a lie? Now, you said something that before, I think I used to be like, well, it depends on the scenario, but you said something that made me think like there is a scenario in which it could be deceptive if you're willingly omitting the truth
Absolutely.
for the purpose of
Deceiving me.
avoiding and being deceptive. That now we're draping on like territory. Like I thought about this scenario like it was this weekend. We're on a trip. We had just left the studio and I'm with the artist and the songwriter that I just met at this thing. Awkward scenario, you don't really know nobody, but you know, they were cool. They were really cool people. So we go get some food after the studio session because our manager rented us a car.
They were both ladies. I think you left.
Yeah,
that part
girls.
out.
They're girls, yeah. So I'm the only guy, and it's just a strange dynamic. Everybody there married, so I'm like, okay, we good. We at the window. We all got separate orders. One girl paid, I paid, and another one came. She was like, "Oh crap!" You know, she's from around for card. It was going for a while. And I was like, "It's cool." I just handed my card. Like I'm just trying to be. This is embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? Cash at me. But then I thought, well,
That's
it
why
wasn't
it was
until
two orders at Wendy's.
huh?
That's why it was 2 charges at Wendy's.
Hey yo, you see? You see? Yo, you be watching. No, that's what it was.
Okay.
So in my mind, I was like, I didn't even think about it. And afterwards, I was like,
Do you have to tell me?
yeah. At this point, so much time has passed. Like it seems, I'm literally in my head like, if I say something, now it feels like, why didn't you say that then? Or why are you telling me this? You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. It's those scenarios to me that are like, you know.
Am I lying if I don't say something?
Yeah. I mean, I completely forgot about it until we sat down here right now. But ultimately, it's like those little things like that, which teeter the line of like, okay, depending on who you're with, this could be a big deal or a not big deal.
Yeah.
Like for you, that's something you ain't gonna trip about. But for somebody else, it could be like, oh, so you buying B's burgers now. You know what I'm saying?
First of all, that's ridiculous.
There's a lot of people, and you got to know the context. If there's a relationship that already wrestles with infidelity, if she don't trust you, you being out of town could already be a situation that drudges up some stuff. Now you buying stuff. It's like, see, I know how you do. You
Get out the relationship.
You Mr. Chivalry now.
Get out the relationship. It reminds
we was
me
going
of,
Dutch when we was dating. Now you buying meals.
It reminds me of when Yvette and Jody pulled up to the shake place, and Jody got the shake, and he was like, "Oh, thank you so much," and she was like, "Oh, thank you so much. You're just being so chivalrous. Give me my shake."
He was already. Hey, hold up though. I don't think she was wrong because Jody was a wild boy. Jody was a wild boy. Shout out John Singleton, like, if you watching this.
Get out of the relationship and don't try to be funny. Don't try to be funny. You try to sneak.
I'm trying to see if you didn't catch it.
I definitely caught that. Yeah. So in the scenario that you just painted, obviously, I'm not the type of person that's going to trip about you offering in that scenario, and I don't think that's something that you needed to run home and tell me. However, you know that I pay all the bills, so fix
that sentence so people don't think I'm out here.
I physically pay all the bills. Like I go into our different accounts and hit the pay button out of money that we both contribute to.
Okay, thank you. Because
I did not know I had to be that specific.
Definitely, it's someone here like, this. Girl, what?
I take care of making sure that the bills are paid. Yeah. That's a responsibility that I take on. So I check our account very frequently. In my mind, I saw the 2 charges from Wendy's, and I figured it was something like that. Either I thought maybe you bought the baby something or whatever.
Yeah,
that's not a big deal to me. Now, fast forward, and you see a need in somebody, right? Maybe somebody that you constantly communicate with. They need a new coat. And you go buy a coat, it's a problem. And especially if you don't tell me. Like if you're supplying or fulfilling a financial need for another female without discussing that with me, that's a problem for me.
What if it's like settings just like that? Like, oh, I got it. You know, like work stuff. You go, hey, who's going to lunch? And you know what I'm saying? Somebody's going, hey, do you want anything? You say, oh, I got it. You just buy it.
Yeah, I think that's something that you should communicate. If it's like, if
Okay.
it's a, you know, if it's McDonald's, okay, whatever.
No, but if so, not a meal factor, but if
No,
it's like,
I mean, the cost matters, right?
so it's more so about balancing finance as nothing to do with buying food for a family.
Now, if it's a frequent thing, you're gonna have to check that. I don't think that you should be volunteering to pay for anybody's food. I do know that there are scenarios where being nice, being chivalrous, or just, you know, I'm going, so I just pay for everything. I don't care about that type of stuff.
Yeah, like I think if I
Just communicate.
okay, yeah, so I don't think I know if I got an answer from you for that.
About
like,
what?
Omission, like
No, omission is a lie. If you are trying to deceive me by omitting information, that is the same thing as lying to me.
now what if they're not trying to deceive you? They just
How?
what if in their minds they don't think it's a big deal? You know what I'm saying?
Why do you get to be the judge of what's a big deal for me?
They're not communicating because they don't think it's a big deal. Now, I think it's different when, like, for instance, if I know it's something, like, and this would be more pertaining to newer relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But if I, in my mind, don't think it's a big deal, and I don't have any context of how you feel about it, but I'm like, nah, it's nothing. But if
we are, this is a rule of thumb. If we're having a conversation about something and something pops into your mind, you need to say it.
no,
you
not
don't
even
admit
that.
it because, oh, it's not really that big of a deal. Nah, tell me, and I'll decide if it's a big
There's
of a deal.
legitimately some scenarios where people think something's not a big deal. And when they say, why didn't you tell me? They say, well, it just didn't come up. There was no conversation that even lended to where I would have to offer this up. It would literally have to be me like, hey, I need to tell you something. So today, yada, yada, yada. And if someone doesn't have a mindset that something is a big deal. Now, this is pertaining to like things that aren't consequential. Like, of course, there are some things that like, okay, you knew that. But there are some things like the scenario we we're just talking about when I was in DC. Like, for somebody else, if it was a new relationship and you have some context that makes you uncomfortable, and for me, like, it literally wasn't a big deal. It's like, yo, she just cash at me. You know what I'm saying? She paid me back. So
Yeah,
I didn't think it was
that's not.
it's not for you, but for somebody else, that could mean something.
Mm-hmm.
Now, those are the situations like, oh, you didn't tell me. It never came up. So, no, you bought a girl food. I mean, you don't know her from a hole in the wall. You just stepping up there.
I think that's just petty. But in the scenario where it's consequential stuff, every time that I've run into, and I've had several encounters with, I just didn't think about it. I didn't think it was a big deal. It's always a big deal, but it's not a big deal to you because you know the information. You have all of the information that you need to make a conscious decision, but you're withholding that from me. Like, every time that I've run into that scenario, it's really been a big deal. But you know that it's a big deal and it would be a big deal to somebody else. So you withhold that information under the guise of, oh, I didn't think you would care, or it's not a big deal. Now, it's not up to you to decide.
Yeah.
If you have information that is even pertinent to our relationship, you need to tell me. To me, that's not pertinent to our relationship. But if that was a girl that you dated and you pulled up and she was the songwriter, you better be on the phone like, the songwriter that they have in here is somebody that I dated in the past, and I just need you to know that. But if you go through this whole scenario and you know that, but I don't have that information, that's not fair to me. That type of omission is a lie.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
No, I had a scenario I was about to say, but I don't think it's applicable. I think it's more common sense. Like, of course. Yeah, that's why I just elected not to say it.
Yeah, so I'm going to stand hard on the fact that if you choose to not tell me something, you're trying to deceive me. Now, I don't need to know the ins and out of your whole entire day. That's not what I'm talking about. Oh, I went here instead of, whatever. I had to run to the post office while I was at work and I didn't tell you, so I'm lying to you. Nah, but if it's consequential to our relationship, and you choose not to give me that information, you're deceiving me.
Yeah. Are there scenarios where, like, so here's a scenario where I was like, nah, because this is something that I don't want to have to answer for. I had a meeting across town. It was the one at the last week before I went out of town. And I had a coworker that I was supposed to go to the meeting as well. young girl. I think she's like in her mid-20s. She was like, "Hey, can I ride with you?" And I was like, "Yeah, no." She was like, "I mean, we're going to the same place." I said, "Yeah, no." She was like, "Why?" I said, "Look," I said, "I'm a familiar face here. I don't really want to have to explain why somebody saw some young girl riding around town with me when I'm supposed to be at work. You know what I mean? Or maybe they don't say nothing to her at all. Maybe it's just something they like, hey, yo."
Smart choice.
Yeah, I just saw Russ, da, 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 da. But in those scenarios, right, like where they might have been like, "Oh yeah, no, it's cool. We go in the same place." Like our work relationship is super professional. It's completely innocent.
You better be picking up the phone.
Huh?
You better be picking up the phone.
My girl not jealous, yada yada, and you know what I mean. So those scenarios where some people just get tripped up. Not me, but I'm just saying that some people get. No, for real, people that get tripped up with that. You know what I'm saying?
I understand. Key is knowing the person that you're with and knowing what their triggers are. Like, and if we've had a conversation,
but see, I don't feel like it's hard to because you strike or you present as someone who's really like, "Oh, whatever." It's like it's cool, I ain't tripping,
and I don't trip.
That's because I don't do nothing. But
so you know who you with. You know what's like. In that scenario, like, nah, I can't do that. Because I told you, I don't want you to put yourself in any scenario where it could be perceived that you're doing something wrong, right? So for me, I give you complete control to determine what that is and what that isn't. And I'm not tripping about that. I'm not, well, why did you make the decision? Why didn't you not make that decision? Like, I set my standard of what I feel like where we should be in our relationship. And I trust that you agreed with that. You didn't think it was unreasonable. So now you know how to conduct yourself and vice versa.
You don't need to walk back your work husband take then.
No, I don't.
Because if you ain't supposed
I
to do
said it ain't
nothing
nothing wrong with it, but I don't got one. I never said I would have one. Y'all, I'm so sorry. I feel so ghetto.
You said you think it ain't a big deal to have one.
I don't.
So if you doing
But you do, so I would never do it. Case in point. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, know the person that you're with. I don't think it's a big deal, but we clearly understand that you don't like the idea of me being that close up on another man. I would never do it. No matter how I feel about it, I would never do it because I'm not going to ever put you in a position to feel like you're being disrespected ever.
Yeah, but it's the thought of don't do anything that could be perceived as it could be disrespectful or something else, right?
Right.
So if you on lunch break and you eating with Todd every day, like it could be perceived like, But
I wouldn't do that because I already know where you stand.
Yeah, but even if I was okay with it, that would go against your thought of don't do anything that perceived. Like it's kind of like a conflicting idea.
It's not. It's just, even if you didn't care, I still wouldn't do it because I'm not putting myself in that situation. I clearly said in the work husband, I wouldn't do it, but I don't think it's anything wrong if people have that relationship. It's not for me. I don't want to get that close with anybody that I work with. I mean, y'all cool, but I go to work, I do what I got to do, and I come home. I'm not there to make friends or work husbands or anything like that. But I can understand how in other scenarios where it is really close quarters and we have to work with each other and we, share and all this, and you feel close with somebody, that type of relationship, which is really not a relationship, I'm using air quotes, could develop.
Absolutely. I think honesty, like in terms of relationships, especially ones like marriages and anything that's that you're trying to set up to go for the long haul, like you have to have like just seamless communication. You know what I mean? And anytime there's gaps, there's the chance that those gaps are gonna break the chain. You know what I mean? Like it's a hard beam to balance.
And I mean, in every scenario, right? Nothing is blanket and it works for everybody. I do suggest that if lying to your partner is a regular thing, that you might need to check that. But I also think y'all need to have a conversation about what constitutes a lie. Because not everybody thinks that omission is a lie. Yeah. Not everybody thinks it's okay to hold a secret without telling it to your partner. Like, we pillow talk often.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that I'm just not going to violate the secrecy in which somebody tells me something. Like, I share a lot of stuff with you. And for any of my friends that's listening, y'all have to know that 9 times out of 10, if you tell me something, I tell Russell. I don't want it to be no misconception. I like most of the time I get advice from him on how to advise you. Or I'll tell him like, hey, you know, such and such came to me and this is what I told him. Like, what do you think about that? Because I know that I'm not wise enough to think that my opinion is the only opinion that ever matters. So as my husband, I do come to you with a lot of stuff and expect you to advise me so that then I can help advise my friends. Or when somebody uses you as a sounding board to divulge all their secrets, like holding that is a lot. And it feels good to release that and knowing that there's a level of trust in this relationship that I believe if I tell something to you, it don't go nowhere else. So I hold a lot for a lot of people. So in turn, you hold that for me.
But then on the flip, there are some scenarios where somebody might be like, look, if they were specific and were like, hey, look, is it okay if I tell you about something? And if you could, like, don't
tell Russell.
Yeah. I
would not tell you.
For sure.
I have people who have said that. Like, don't say nothing to Russell. Okay, cool.
Oh, for who?
Yeah, I ain't gonna tell you who. I ain't gonna tell you who. I ain't gonna tell you what they said. Come on now.
I was just
But I think that in a marriage, like, you're my safe space.
Yeah.
And I should be able to do that. Now, if it's people who are not okay with that, if they tell me that, I would never share. I would never divulge. But 9 times out of 10, if you tell me something when I get home or when he come home, I'd be like, oh, babe, guess what?
Pillow talk is one of the top 5 best things about being in a relationship.
She said, what?
She said, what? Oh, no, she didn't.
But it don't leave our bedroom or our couch or wherever.
That part. So, yeah, we want y'all to weigh in. Let us know what y'all think. Few things as you guys come to the live tomorrow. Few things. Number one, frequent question we've asked, and I think it always opens up dope conversation, is omission of the truth or lie. Is it okay to tell the lie in some scenarios? I think for me, like, the scenarios, I know you said sometimes, like, what prompts your feeling of or the trigger of lying is like insecurities. I think for me it's like avoidance. Like, I don't like difficult conversations. I don't like conflict. And sometimes I feel like the truth will create that, or it will create the need for further conversation of something I'm not comfortable talking about. Like the sex conversation. Like, I don't want to have a conversation with you about how I'm not enjoying sex. Like, that seems hurtful. You know what I'm saying? So
you would lie to me?
No, I'm talking about in the past. I'm talking about in the past. I think I've learned from the era of that, right? Like, I think my whole first marriage was in large part due to my inability to have difficult conversations and avoiding saying how I feel to avoid the difficult conversation. So I've seen where that goes. I've learned that lesson. But in the past, that's what I wrestled with. And even after my marriage, before I really settled into it and kind of came to that revelation, it was a pattern that continued on. Like, I'll deal with you, we cool, but this aspect of the relationship I really don't like. And there's so many people that wrestle with that. Like, they avoid the difficult conversations, they omit the truth, and they'd rather do other things. They'd rather ghost, disappear, have the difficult conversation. They'd rather stay unhappy in one area of the relationship, settle for being happy in other areas of the relationship, not knowing that this one area, even though it's to you not that consequential, 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line, when you're going without this area, it means something. So right now, yeah, he makes me happy, he laughs. It's okay that the sex isn't that great. But 7 years down the line, when you're used to that,
he ain't making you laugh no more.
Them jokes ain't as funny. You gonna want to enjoy your bedroom.
Yeah.
And now you have 5 years of him thinking, oh, what we do is cool. When you like, nah, it never did it for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now that's a harder conversation to have in my mind. Yeah. Like, if the first time we are intimate and it's bad, okay, you might get 2 or 3 more tries. Maybe it's just the first time nerves or whatever. But once I feel like, no, that's just how you do it, we got to have a conversation.
There's so many women who just don't. There's so many women.
I know.
Yeah. It was surprised. Like, when I talk when I talk to women and in times past, the resounding thing most of the time is that majority of women, when they speak about their sexual experience, the majority of their partners fall in the category of unsatisfactory. And they might have that one that was like, hey,
That was the one.
that was the one right there. But the rest of, the people that they were intimate with, it didn't do it for them. And not more often than not, that becomes just what it is. You know what I mean? And I think it's
Preaching
sad.
to the choir.
I am so glad
Y'all
I am
definitely
not
get
a
the
woman.
better end of the stick when it comes to that. As far as like knowing, I mean, I don't think it takes much for y'all, right?
It's anatomy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
you're aroused and you can get it.
back, forth.
Yes.
Like it's good. It's going to
Not
go
being
away.
too graphic.
But ultimately, I think men, because we're not, most of them typically don't tend to dig deep thought wise into certain things. Like most guys are just happy to have sex. So we don't have a whole lot of conversation on the quality of sex. But when you talk to dudes, there's a lot of people be like, man, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like that. And most of the time when we're unfulfilled in that way, we're more prone to just end the relationship. If a dude sexually is not fulfilled, 9 times out of 10, he like, yeah, this ain't gonna work.
I feel like too, like there's a societal part that plays into this because in most scenarios, not all, but in most, the man is the dominant figure in the bedroom. So what you like and what you don't like, you can get it.
Your
like,
sexual experience is predicated on what you like.
Like
I
like it when she on top, so I'm gonna roll you over and you gonna be on top. Or
I
I
like
like
to
it
go
when
fast,
she do. Yeah,
so-
then I'm gonna go fast.
Yeah.
And what the woman likes is rarely understood, communicated, and then performed.
Yeah.
Like, so number one, sex starts way before we get in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what you like, what you don't like, how you like it, how you don't like it. Then after I communicate it, I have to make the choice now when we're in the bedroom to perform that. Like, cause still I want to get mine. Like, I came for a good time.
We are super sex episodic right
Not
now.
a long time. So you only got about 10 minutes to decide,
Yeah.
and I'm going to do what, as a man, I'm going to do what feels good to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are the scenarios that kind of make me jump into my like, it was good, or anything along those lines. You know what I mean? Maybe it's food nasty. You know what I mean? And look with the big eyes, like, do you like it? Yeah, well, it's good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and
I'm going to tell you the truth.
yeah. Now there's more. I think that's the opposite end. Like, whereas with sex, women feel a lot of pressure to, kind of acquiesce to what the man wants.
Absolutely.
I think there's not as much. I don't think this is a good comparison, but there is on the other end a little bit of pressure for a man to respect and enjoy little things. Like, I remember the first time you cooked for me, you articulated, I don't know why I'm nervous. Like, it's just spaghetti. I know I can cook. I cook it all the time, but I knew how much it mattered to you that I enjoyed your food. You know what I mean? Especially culturally in our context, like, food is a big part of our family unit. And I think we were very mindful of going to our relationship. Like, we're walking towards this. This is something that we both want. So if I didn't like that spaghetti, it was going to be hard to be like, I don't like it. Cause I know it's something he's worried about. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I feel like on the receiving end of that, and I know that's a very specific scenario, but in the fact that I was really nervous about making the spaghetti and making it the way you liked it, it was more because I was trying to please you, not that I wanted to be affirmed in the fact that I could cook.
For sure.
So you're not doing either one of us a disservice in that scenario if you were to lie, because now I'm gonna keep making it like this.
Yeah.
When you could have just been like, nah, I don't like it when you put mushrooms in it. Like, I ain't really a fan of mushrooms. Like, and I don't really like ragu. I'm a Prego person. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Just
you have to be honest.
tell me what you like so that I can do it the way you like
have
it.
to be honest. And I think there's a other end of this where, because I think we're focusing on, we're really putting a lot of emphasis on people's ability to tell the truth. But there's another spectrum of this where we need to put pressure on people accepting other people's truth, especially when it comes to the people that we love.
You need a button that say you can't handle the truth, because a lot of people can't.
I was gonna do that when we had a different day for the podcast. Remember that?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
A lot of people can't handle.
They can't handle the truth, and like you're different. You appreciate the truth. You respect the truth. You communicate that, and you want that. So I don't have to worry about that with you. But there's a lot of people who cannot handle the truth, and there's a lot of people who say if I don't like spaghetti, it's like. I was up cooking all night. Spaghetti needed the steak. like just, like, and then now it's like, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
You have to be able to, especially when you build a relationship, you have to be able to accept the truth. Fellas, the male ego has ruined so many relationships, especially when it pertains to sex. I'm not going back down this road because we got a whole sex episode this season that's going to be bomb. But you have to be able to hear when there's things that, because sex is not just based on what you like, it's based on what y'all both like. And if you going into the bedroom and you doing stuff that she don't really get jiggy with, you got to be able to hear like, can you slow down? Or baby, slow down. Can you know?
Yeah, I remember telling you very clearly up front, because I had a horrible experience. Like, I don't like my ear licked. Don't put your tongue anywhere near my ear so I hear that. Why you trying to make me feel sexy? I don't like it. I don't enjoy
it. Made me
it.
nauseous.
And if that was your thing, like, I wanted you to know up front before we even talked about when it's gonna happen.
First of all,
I don't like
when
it.
you said that, the first thing that came to my mind is like, yo, what dude did an ear job on Brandy so much of the fact that she felt like within the first 3 weeks of our relationship to communicate, don't be licking my ears. Huh? What do you?
I don't like it.
Who out here licking ears like that? I'm good. I have no desire to.
Traumatized. Do you hear me?
Said, that's such a random thing to say. Like, so I just feel like I need to say this. Like, I don't like ear licking. Huh? What? Girl, what are we eating for dinner? Like, you want to go get some food? What are you talking about?
The most disgusting experience. And it's not like there's some wild stuff you can do in sex. That was literally the most disgusting experience I've ever had.
In your ear?
It was all up, like the lobe, the back behind it, and it went.
Stop doing that noise. Someone is listening to
like this, like,
somebody cut off the podcast right now. Like oh, girl.
I'm trying to move, like the worst. So yeah, that was one of the things up front that I had to communicate. And I also feel like you did a great job of saying how I expect the truth. I don't always like the truth, but I respect the truth.
You gotta know how to deliver it, and you gotta know how to receive it. And those are skill sets. It's not just something you know how to do. You gotta develop the skill set of telling the truth in a way that it can be received, and you gotta be able to receive it and know what to do with that. Because we keep sex episode, but even in the bedroom, sometimes you can give a truth, and it's like, I don't like the way you're talking to me. Harder, faster. I don't want to do this no more. I'm not having fun. It's too much pressure.
Stop screaming at me.
Harder, deeper. Hold on.
That's why we have these conversations up front. Are you a talker? Do you like to give a lot of verbals?
I don't like what you're saying to me. I'm uncomfortable. I can't focus. Stop talking.
I remember when you told me that.
What?
Like in the middle of a session, you were like, "Hey, babe, stop talking." You remember that?
I don't remember. I'm a talker. I like to talk.
No, I think it was what I was saying.
I don't remember that. And off the pod, I need you to tell me what you were saying, because I'm thinking about the stuff we be saying. I'm like, what did you say that made me say that? Because we already be having whole conversations.
No, I think it was. Yeah, I ain't gonna say it.
Nah, say it. We grown. Hey, y'all know this is a grown folk show. Look, turn this one off if your kids is listening.
No,
okay?
baby, you don't want me to say it. I promise you don't. I know the threshold. I am not about to say it.
It was like that.
It wasn't like anything disgusting.
You're nasty.
No, it wasn't anything disgusting. I think it was the scenario that was happening, right? And I was trying to encourage.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember like, baby, just stop talking. I remember that.
So yeah.
Okay.
Is we done yet?
What's wrong with you?
I'm sick, number one. And I'm starting to get really flush.
Okay. That conversation did it for you?
No.
Oh,
I think it
okay.
just made me like, baby, you really don't, like, I don't want to say it. And I felt a little bit of pressure.
Lord. Okay.
I don't
You
want to do
good. You're good.
Yeah, so I don't know if I have anything else to say.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I think we tore this one into the ground. Don't lie. Be honest. Tell the truth. If it's something you're not sure about, say it anyway, just in case they care.
Yeah,
know your partner. Know the things they care about.
I think we gave some really good nuggets in the very first season of our relationship, and of the podcast. And if you haven't listened to what we have here as a failure to communicate, you can go back and listen to that. I think we gave some really dope tips on communicating, how we do it, and implementing truth moment was so pivotal to
We don't
the
even do that
beginning.
no more.
No, because we've established.
You might say anything. I don't even need the seatbelt no more.
There you go.
But I was really sensitive in the beginning of a relationship. I don't think because now I can't think of a scenario where you need to be like, okay, truth moment. But back then it was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Nobody asked you.
Wow. Why did you just offer up that thought?
But I think it was a really good tool in the beginning of our relationship.
Sure.
And I suggest that to people who may have a tough time communicating a truth that they feel like is going to be hurtful to somebody. So establishing, look, I'm about to say something that may hurt you, and we can talk through that.
It's a good tool for people who have trouble receiving too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let me verbalize what I need to say, and then we can process. But I don't recommend lying to try to protect somebody's feelings, because I humbly believe that anytime you tell a lie, the truth will eventually come out.
Absolutely.
And you don't want to be on the other side of lying significantly to somebody that you love, and they can't handle that lie now that it's been 10 years.
That's real.
So.
Yep. Bring your thoughts, bring your scenarios, and bring good energy to the live tomorrow. Of course, we go live every Wednesday, Eastern Standard Time, 8:30 p.m. That's on Facebook and YouTube. Once again, we'll be there for a good time, not a long time. Mm-hmm. So come kick it with us. As always, we love.
And y'all should love too.
Peace.